1. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the 57th episode of the Cardboard Box Theory. Another good episode, huh, Michael?
Yes, sir. This one we're talking about the Reaper Madness.
Yeah, we're going to dive deep into it. We're going to dive deep into it. But first, we're going to start off with a video. A very interesting video we got going here.
I didn't see this video yet.
This is, what is it? Violent turbulence throws flight attendant into ceiling.
So last week we had the old lady.
Yeah, this week we're going to bring in the flight turbulence. The old lady, if you didn't watch last week, which stop this one right now and go back and listen to last week's. It was an old woman. What was she doing, Michael?
She was hiking. She was a 75-year-old lady was hiking out, and I think it looked like Iran, but it was the desert, and
it was Iran.
And she ended up getting evac'd, but for some reason some harness or pulley broke and she was spinning around in the fucking air.
Yeah, and what I found out later was her face was all bruised and her side was all bruised.
Wow.
Not because anything hit her, but her blood vessels blew. Which that doesn't really, it just means like
quite literally blue.
Yeah, and her face was all bruised and stuff. I don't know. I don't know. Would you rather be put in the ground if that was in your situation, Michael?
Yeah.
Yeah, just walk me home, honestly. But here we go. I'm going to dive into this video. So this comes from CNN. Could have chose Fox. We chose CNN. And not giving this guy the advertisement they want. So if that ever happens on a podcast or a video, we're not giving you the advertisement unless you're paying us. So sorry. And we're not even going to say what it is because fuck that company.
Yeah.
Here we go. Another one. Another one. You kidding me?
Yeah, this is shocking right now.
What are you doing? This is, dude.
It's for the same product too.
Yeah, it is from a different product though. There's another
different product from the same company.
All right, here we go.
It was a terrifying moment.
Rocked. All right.
Oh wow. That's it. It looked like they went over a school bus hump.
Did you see that? See the all around, cold and hot beverages by the way.
Although she's like cold and hot beverages.
Yeah.
When this happened, now when they eventually landed, at least 10 people had minor injuries.
that lady in the yellow just knew she was fucked halfway through. It was just like on the way down, she was like, oh.
They want you to strap in if you're not up and about.
Well, yeah, that's what you're supposed to do if you're fucking... Why was a flight attendant going around, hey, who needs drinks? I know we're going through bad turbulence right now, but who's thirsty? Who wants something right now?
Yeah, it was just a bad idea. Honestly, I'm blaming the pilot.
Yeah, I'm going to blame the pilot, too. You ever been through bad turbulence?
No, I haven't. I've only flown once, and it was when I was 5. So.
Dude, bad turbulence will have you feel like you're about to die, bro. It's not a good feeling. It's not a good feeling at all. It feels like, what am I going to say? It feels like... you're gonna die. Like that's what it feels like. Because if the plane just going crazy,
I might want to try it.
Yeah, dude. But like you said when we were watching that video, that's like the bus when you were younger in middle school.
Yeah.
And you'd be sitting in the back of the bus, and you'd hit a bump and you'd fucking fly. Which there's still a lot of videos like that on the internet today. But yeah, it was pretty funny.
I some kid ever sustained like head injuries from that?
From the bus?
Yeah.
Let's look it up.
It had to be.
Do you think so? How many kids do you think get injured a year from bus?
150.
150.
At least are we talking about minor injuries or major injuries?
Yeah. Like minor injuries.
We're talking about some fat kid that got pounced up and maybe like landed on his ACL wrong, out for the year, you know?
Done. Fucking benched from the school basketball team. They needed him too because he was a big power forward.
Yeah. Dude was a bruiser inside.
All right, kids. What would you even call? Yo, I have a question for you. What was that activity called in middle school that we would do if, like, remember you'd pick something, it would be after 8th period or before 8th period, and you'd pick like football or...
Oh, it was something extracurricular.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly what the name was for it.
If you know the name for that, DM us on Instagram because literally this is the fourth person.
You'll win a prize.
Yeah, you'll win a prize. You will. This is the fourth person I've asked that doesn't know this answer. And I've been wanting this answer for I don't even know how long, dude.
I know it had something to do with field day. I can't remember it.
Dude, it's on the tip of my tongue. I just can't fucking remember it. Because I remember it like it was yesterday, but I don't remember what it was called.
It's just where we would, like I said, but to sum it up, it was extracurricular activities.
I know. I just want to know the
People
name though, like the actual name for it, because there's a name for it that we just can't fucking remember, dude.
You just get that feeling in your stomach sometimes.
Yeah, man. Let's see. I'm not finding really. All I'm finding is kids like raw school bus,
Like fights.
like just like raw school bus accidents, dude.
Oh no.
Hold up. Now we're looking at a funny school bus bump. Uh-oh, coach is walking to the front. Here we go.
Oh, yeah, it sounds like. Oh! Yeah, that's exactly what we were talking about, though. The kid got pounced up from the back, and dude went flying into the ceiling.
Dude, he hit his back pretty fucking hard.
You can't tell me if that guy had some like heavy water bottles in his backpack, he wasn't getting hurt.
Or some bricks if he didn't have any. But why do kids not have to wear seatbelts on school buses?
No, that's a good question.
I don't understand that. I want to look that up now.
Yeah, if we're talking about safety, I mean, we're talking about marijuana in this one, but we're talking about safety, man.
School bus. Why don't school bus? What is it? Why don't people on school bus have to wear fucking seatbelts?
Yeah, because when you think about it, it's kind of ridiculous.
Exactly. You think that was supposed to be helping them? Maybe because if they could escape or something, like if something happened.
Yeah, and there's also there's so many, like, I don't know, I guess it would be hard to buckle in. And not really. I mean,
Yeah.
it wouldn't be really that hard. They just made them like that to begin with.
Well, they had them in the front of the bus. There was like 2 seats in the front of the bus. Oh, here it is. The simple answer is that they don't need them in a cost/benefit analysis. The cost of adding seatbelts to school buses outweighs any potential benefits. According to the NHTSA studies, modern school buses are large and heavy, and their passengers are high off the ground. School buses are designed to be safe. Our school buses.
Well, that makes sense, but why wouldn't you want to add that more security? I don't know.
Money. That's literally like, yeah, we don't want to spend all that money on school buses. In general, school buses are considered safe. Large school buses by design are safer than passengers' cars because they are heavier and come outfitted with strong, closely spaced seats that are often crash protection even without seatbelts, according to traffic. Well, I mean, that kid just flew into the fucking ceiling. How really are they? You know,
They haven't driven in Pennsylvania.
Dude, yeah.
Pothole Pennsylvania.
Literally, every fucking turn, every road you're going down is terrible. It's not good at all. That's pretty... Do you think school buses should have seatbelts?
No.
You don't think so?
The only reason why I say that is because I really think it would take away from just the socialness
The experience
of school
of
bus. Because people don't realize that. Our school bus we went to, not a lot of people talked, but in other school buses, like, people are just like getting hyped, throwing shit. Like,
yeah, doing drugs in the back. I remember
you got a kid ODing in the back.
I remember kids that were like, yeah, dude, I smoked a blunt on my Votech bus. I'm like, what? How, dude?
What did you just say to me?
We just hung it out the window, and that was when Mids was back around too. Nobody was really smelling that too much. Although an average of 7 school-age passengers are killed in school bus crashes each year, 19 are killed getting off the school bus, according to the school transportation.
That's so tragic.
So, yeah.
Seatbelts.
98 people. That's really not too bad. If you look at the odds in the stand, like the odds of statistics, it's really good statistics for not wearing seatbelts, in all honesty.
Yeah.
Like, you have to go with the no seatbelts. School buses are designed. I know, like, was it a month ago, I think it was? I'm gonna hear me out here. There was a school bus that was stopping, and there was a truck in front of me. And I thought I had time because the school bus's yellow lights were on.
Yeah.
I was like, I can beat this fucker. And I go, and the sign's like going out right as I'm passing it, and I'm like, ah, shit.
Yeah, you're kind of like locked in that
Yeah, I'm like,
situation.
well, I can't just stop right here. So then I'm like, I'll just keep going. And then like 3 days goes by, and all I'm thinking about is like, dude, I wonder if they got my license plate, and they're gonna call the cops. I'm gonna lose my fucking license.
That's the anxiety sitting in
Dude,
there.
yeah, I was like more than 90% sure I was going to lose my license. I was having a full-blown panic attack. Because dude, if it's a first offense in Pennsylvania, you lose your license for like 6 months or like a month. I could be wrong. I don't know.
It's insane. PennDOT, special shout out to PennDOT here. I had to deal with them a lot in my life. And they are not intelligent people.
Yeah, I've never dealt with I've only gotten 1 speeding ticket, I think. That's it, which isn't too bad. I don't know.
Yeah.
But let's dive into the topic today, Michael. We're going to talk about some marijuana.
Yeah.
Marijuana. So, what do you want to start today? You want to start in legalization pros, Michael? Do you want to start with how great marijuana is for the human society?
Let's just let's take an examination of what weed is now. Weed, as people know, it's a mind-altering substance, and the government is considered a Schedule 1 drug. A lot of people, there's a lot of myths about it. There's a lot of stigma about it, and there's a lot of not a lot of facts, I should say, about it out there as well, due to like the lack of research. But the question is here: should we legalize it or should we not legalize it?
Let's start off with the Schedule 1 drugs we got in society.
You have heroin, methamphetamines.
We're going to look list of Schedule 1 drugs that marijuana is under.
And it's because of that, they really have a hard time researching it to begin with. So right there, you kind of already see a lack of information. And I think that's just sort of the tip of the iceberg when examining this.
So Schedule 1 drugs, we have heroin, LSD, marijuana, mescaline, MDMA, GHB, don't know what that is, ecstasy, psilocybin, synthetic
Bath
marijuana, methaquilene.
Now,
what's cat, dude? What is this?
it's ridiculous that marijuana is on there. And I'm not saying that from like a biased perspective. It's what it is.
Well, no, it's ridiculous. It's labeled with heroin and LSD and fucking ecstasy, which psilocybin and LSD I don't think should be a Schedule 1 drug. Schedule 1 drugs are all fucked up.
How can something that treats chronic pains in AIDS patients and prevents people from having seizures? I mean, do any of those other drugs up there do any kind of health benefits even remotely close to that?
MDMA, there's rumors that it can help with PTSD. Psilocybin, they're learning that can help with PTSD. Yeah. Psychedelic drugs are becoming basically, like, I don't think psilocybin, I don't think MDMA, I don't think any LSD. I don't think LSD. Dude, LSD you can get in serious shit. The Schedule 1, weed should not be in the Schedule 1 drugs because there's enough. I don't know, dude.
And this is what prevents that exactly prevents it from getting any kind of scientific research done.
Yeah, exactly.
And Mexico, I know, just recently on a federal level passed something to just research it a couple of years ago. But the fact of the matter is, we're lacking a lot of knowledge and information.
Yeah, because it's hard for research because it's technically illegal. So in some other states, as you know, it is not fully, it's legal in some states.
Yeah, it's legal in about 11 states. Illinois just recently became the 11th state.
Yeah.
In there. And there's medical marijuana is legal in 33 states.
Yeah.
So there's no denying that there's at least some medical benefits to it.
But the problem is it's still federally illegal. So when it's federal illegal, it's still technically illegal everywhere.
Yes.
So some states can give you more of a hard time than others. And
it can also come down to the president then, really. And it gives the president overriding power over one issue. And that's a problem we see in a lot of politics now.
Yeah.
Especially with Trump being president. But a president, like, for example, Obama decided to leave it up to the states and that no one would get prosecuted on a federal level. But at the same time, during his presidency, he went and shut down a couple large marijuana farms in California.
Yeah, which never made any sense to me. Dude, that was like I was listening to an NPR podcast and they were talking about nukes. If the president wants to launch a nuke, it's his 100% decision, nobody else's. So if he wants to drop a nuke and he says, I want to drop a nuke here, and they're like, President, that's a terrible idea. I don't care, I want to drop a nuke there, which I think is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. And back in the day too, when they had the nuke launching facilities during the Cold War, you needed two people to turn the keys simultaneously. So never one person could just launch a nuke. Like if somebody went wired. Yeah, it is. Because if you think about it, and they would have the keys like way across the room, so you couldn't just fucking do it at the same time. Yeah. But no, like you're saying with the president thing is, this would leave it up to him. And Donald Trump really hasn't said anything on weed, has he?
Trump actually seemingly almost is more pro-weed than any president we've had. And I'm only saying that because he legalized hemp.
Yeah. which is crazy.
Yeah, and which allows CBD, which honestly was a good decision on his part.
Oh shit! Look at this. June 11th, 2000. Oh, it was 2018. We're in 2000.
Or 19.
Jesus, dude.
Yeah, years are flying by, man.
I just got like a realization. We're in 2019.
Just like look death into the eye.
Dude, that was weird. I never like wrote it down, so I don't think that's why it didn't hit me. I don't know. Trump said, this is an article from 2018 saying Trump to end federal ban on weed, maybe, but I don't know.
It's in consideration when you have places like Colorado raking in $1.2 billion in revenue. I mean, just alone, even the marijuana charges we're seeing now is it's ridiculous because, for example, Illinois has 770,000 people that are going to get their records expunged for a simple marijuana possession charge.
Yeah.
When you see those kind of numbers on a federal level, we look at the war on drugs. And the war on drugs is a joke.
Yeah, the war on drugs is a joke. It's mostly weed. Like, let's look up what percentage of people go to jail for weed. Like, how many people have weed charges on their record?
It's actually marijuana possession charges. There's 600,000.
Yeah.
Right now. There's 600,000 right now that have just simple marijuana possession charges. I don't know about the other ones.
The first thing I look up on Google, what percentage of people have herpes?
Fitting.
Are in jail for weed.
But if you add that up, if you break down the numbers, which I did the pleasure of doing.
Yeah.
When you look at it, the $47 billion is spent annually on the war on drugs.
Yeah.
When you break that down into how many arrests are for marijuana possession, just simple marijuana possession, we're not talking about DUIs, which I think people who do smoke weed and drive underneath the wheel and get pulled over should get a DUI still. Yeah. I don't think that is even in question. But when you look at this and break it down, we're spending about $17 billion annually on marijuana possession charges.
Which is crazy. Doesn't make any sense.
That's our tax money.
Yeah. Going to something that doesn't kill anybody or doesn't harm anybody when alcohol does a lot more damage. I was thinking too the other day, I was walking to the grocery store and I'm in the aisle of like alcohol drinks like wine, beer and all that shit. And I'm like, how can they legally sell alcohol out in the open? But if weed even comes near a grocery store or is fucking near anything, people freak out.
The fact of the matter is they're both mind altering substances, whether we want to admit it or not.
Yeah.
They're both a drug.
Exactly. They change your brain,
So that sort of brings up the moral argument of it too, because like if alcohol is legal, then why can't marijuana be legal?
Exactly. A number of states that have decriminalized or removed the threat of jail time for simple possession of small amounts of marijuana. 22. That's not too bad. Yeah. Number of people killed in Mexico's drug war since 2016, 200,000 plus.
Wow.
Yeah, dude.
That number is a lot higher than I thought you were going to say.
Tax revenue that drug legalization would yield annually if currently legal drugs were taxed at rates comparable to alcohol. To those on alcohol and tobacco, $58 billion if we were to tax everything.
Canada alone made $1.2 billion off the marijuana industry in 2017 or 2018.
Which now they're going to make how much money do you think they're raking in now? How much money do you think they're going to rake in by the end of the year?
In 2022, they're projected they're expected to overtake California as the marijuana capital of the world, and rake in $7.8 billion a year.
They're gonna fucking have some probably pretty crazy fucking stuff. Canadians spend more than $1 billion on weed. Marijuana will add $8 billion to Canada's economy. That's pretty crazy. That's a lot of fucking money, dude.
A hefty amount.
That is a lot of money.
And it's crazy because you even see stuff like going back on top of the profit prisons.
Yeah.
Like we talked about it with KB on podcast 50. Check it out. It's a really good one.
Yeah, that's a great podcast.
Yeah, it's sad. It's sad, and you kind of see this cycle of lobbying from alcohol industries. Yeah. And you see a cycle of just like in general, even with police, and this lobbying is a problem with weed, and I don't think that is exemplified enough.
I want to see what are the hardest states on marijuana? Like what states in the country have the worst laws on marijuana? Because if you get caught in Pennsylvania with like a half a smoked joint, you're dead. They might shoot you, bro. Yeah. It's ridiculous. What is it? Arkansas, 4 ounces or less, jail time 1 year or less, minimum fine 2005. Florida, 20 grams or less, jail time 1 year, maximum fine $1,000.
Wow.
What is this? Georgia, 1 ounce, 1 year. Fuck, dude. Idaho.
I'm not surprised by this. I'm not surprised by Georgia.
No, dude.
Seems like more farming communities than anything.
They just have Atlanta, and then that's it. 3 ounces or less, 1 year, jail time in Idaho. Indiana, any amount, 180 days in jail. Jesus Christ, dude. Iowa, any amount, 6 months in jail. Jesus, dude. Kansas, any amount, 6 months in jail.
This is sort of where you see, like I was saying, for-profit prisons come into play because there's a market for it. Whether we want to admit it or not, there's a market for putting people in prison, and weed's a really easy way to do that.
Yeah. What's this one? Louisiana, 14 grams or less, 15 days. Michigan, any amount, 1 year. North Dakota, 1 ounce, 30 days.
Well, I think Michigan probably changed their laws by then because Michigan has fully legalized.
Yeah, that's right. They have. That's right.
So even like I know you mentioned Illinois. So some of these states have changed their laws, but you can see this is just example after example of just
ridiculousness, dude. It's insane. I want to see if PA's on here. I don't think they are. No, they're not.
Pennsylvania, I think Pennsylvania has it right for right now. I think going just medical right now is the way to go. Because I think Pennsylvania, what they're doing is that they haven't really made any concrete decisions on their marijuana industry.
Yeah.
So they can sort of see what works and what doesn't.
Yeah.
Because what these states that are taking on this industry are taking is a risk of the unknown.
Yeah.
We don't really know what happens when you legalize weed.
Well, we do, but it should.
Yeah.
We know with money and stuff, it's not really going to cause. It's going to help really help the black market go down, but it doesn't. People say it helps the black market go down a lot, but it doesn't really in all aspects.
No, it kills the black market.
Yeah, it does some. It depends what the market looks like for legalization, like legal weed. If legal weed's doing good and it's cheap, it kind of kills the black market. But there's always going to be a black market for weed, no matter what. No matter what, unless it goes full legal.
And that could be maybe a reason why weed is not fully legalized, because there's no real opportunity to monopolize it.
Well, in Ohio, they try to monopolize it. They try to have two big... They were going to legalize it, but the way they were going to legalize it was 4 big corporations run weed, and that's it. Nobody else can grow weed or anything, which that's gross. You can't do that. That's disgusting.
I think Illinois has it right with what they're doing right now. It sort of goes with certain reformations. I think that's how you pronounce that word. Reformations Act. And what they're considering doing is handing off these new businesses to minorities, which I think is a great idea.
That's what they should do.
Because not only that, you see a constant lack of misrepresentation of African Americans and any really minority in America in really rich positions of power, such as a marijuana industry.
Exactly.
So I think that's the way to approach it, and I think Illinois is doing a good job of breaking that down.
Yeah, well, the problem with weed is that if you have money, you can get into it, but if you don't have money, you can't, because it's super, super expensive industry to get into.
And some places ruin the industry for it.
Yeah.
What was that one place in
Oregon?
Yeah.
Oregon has too much weed right now, and they can't. They have so much weed that they could last the next 6 years without growing any. And that's not good, because that means the market's just deteriorating for everybody around it. Because when there's too much weed, the prices are going to drop. Everything's going to drop completely.
Yeah, it's a simple supply and demand chart at that point.
Yeah. So now what they're trying to do, Oregon's about to okay cannabis exports. Oh shit, that's pretty crazy.
Which that would definitely help deal with that excess.
Yeah.
And bring in a lot more revenue.
So can states can you export weed out of a state to another state? That's a good question. I want to look that up.
No. That would deal with crossing over state lines, and that's a federal offense.
Legal. What if it's legal to legal state?
Maybe if the states are neighboring each other, that's when it would really get iffy.
Yeah. Marijuana companies that legally export cannabis to the United States. Let me see here. exporting weed. Oregon, more consider exporting weed to other states.
Obama shut down some of those exportations.
Yeah, which doesn't make any sense.
Obama has a really iffy. I know a lot of this time, people. I don't get it twisted. People, don't get it twisted. I hate Trump, and Trump is the worst, and Republicans are really bad people for the most part.
Yeah.
But you can't also ignore what Democrats do at the same point. And Obama seems to be really indifferent towards these cartels in Mexico.
Yeah.
And you see that with Fast and Furious, where he sold guns to them, and also obviously doing somewhat of eliminating the marijuana market in America would help that cartel market. So
yeah,
maybe something iffy there, maybe not.
Yeah,
just something I observed.
I don't know. It's fucking both Democrats and fucking Republicans both put on some bullshit front to make sure they're better than the other one. They're both fucking shitty.
Meanwhile, they're both taking super PAC money.
Exactly. It's ridiculous. Marijuana could take the next step towards joining Pinot Noir craft beer and hazelnuts. No. I don't know. Yeah, because you definitely can't go over state lines into a legal state with it. No, you can't.
Yeah, I would imagine if there's not many. I don't think there's any state like that currently. So maybe we just haven't come across that issue yet. I don't think any states that have fully legalized that are right next to each other. Maybe outside of Vermont, and I don't know if New Hampshire.
Yeah.
I don't know if they.
Because I mean, there's so many local. Because I guarantee most weed shops are local fucking people growing,
which is what you want, and people don't realize how important local markets are.
Yeah, exactly.
In a local economy, it only logically makes sense.
Yeah, because there's a lot. Like how many dispensaries you think are in the States right now? How many dispensaries?
I know in Illinois there's 48 or 50 currently, and those are medical facilities that they're going to turn into recreational facilities as well.
Yeah. States where it's legal, United States of weed,
and places where there's typically not, obviously Illinois is the outliner in this, but typically in places that only have medical legalized, you'll see a lot less dispensaries around, and they'll have a lot of limitations in regards to where they're located in terms of like schools. Yeah,
well, we just passed. Pennsylvania just passed flour going in because it was just concentrates. I think they had edibles too. I'm not really sure though.
The potency is getting really high.
Yeah, the potency is getting real high because people that smoke weed now and like used to smoke weed back in the day say it's nothing like it used to be because they're learning more about it now. That's the thing that's going on, is they're figuring out ways they can do different stuff with weed and all that type of stuff. But it's crazy. It's getting fucking out of hand, honestly.
When you see this potency, you sort of see like the ups and downs of it.
Yeah.
So there's negative effects of weed's health, and there's also positive effects that we don't know the fullness of yet, and that are getting more and more brought out.
Yeah.
With this, and it's crazy.
Yeah. Well, now we're going to really see what weed does. I mean, it doesn't kill you, but we don't really know the long effects of smoking weed, this type of weed.
Yeah. When I was looking it up, I found mostly in teenagers is where it affects people most, and that's where they're most concerned, because what it does, it's supposedly it brings down the developmental part of your brain.
Yeah.
So the part of your brain that learns, basically, in theory, is what it brings down, because numerous statistics show that people that smoke weed during high school have lower grades. Yeah. And Duke University, I know, did a study where marijuana, if you smoke marijuana chronically in your teenage years and continue to smoke through your adulthood, your IQ typically drops by 8 during that time, which is pretty interesting, but I think it's a more case-to-case basis.
Yeah, that's what I think it is too. I definitely think it's a way more case-to-case basis. Weed affects everybody differently. That's another thing. People don't realize, like, everything affects everybody's body differently. Like, nobody has the exact same body type or everything.
As much as we're alike, we're also that much different, and that's the beauty of it.
Well, yeah, that's like the lethal injection thing too. They're trying to find ways to kill people with lethal injection, and they can't figure it out because everybody's body's different. So it's like...
you're not going to really find a set in stone answer.
No, like, it's it's just like weed. Like you can give somebody 20 milligrams of edibles and you give another person 20 milligrams of edible and it can affect them completely differently than it would affect the other person. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And people don't take that shit into consideration. They just think that everything's just a set in stone answer, which in reality, it's really not.
Exactly. Everything has way more research and depth into it than people want to go into.
Yeah. And and even that, like people also don't look even like beyond the surface level of what the weed industry brings to a town, such as in terms of revenue and where that money's going. And typically you see that money going in education.
Yeah. Well, look at Colorado's education system now, dude. It's doing great. Like all the schools are getting new shit and stuff like that.
Yeah, and that's what you need to see. And there's numerous things you can go to. For example, California preserves a lot of its wildlife, which obviously we've needed recently with these out of control forest fires.
Yeah.
And,
which PP&L is getting they're fucked for that, dude. They fucked that up real good. They were supposed to turn off their power and they didn't. So that's what caused the forest fires.
It doesn't even get talked about anymore. We did a brief podcast on it with Dave. I think that was around the podcast of the 30s range.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really get talked about, man.
No, PP&L is fucked up. They get a lawsuit filed against for like $17 billion or something crazy shit like that.
And you see companies like ExxonMobil not being held accountable for their impact on the environment. And I think we should also hold companies that lobby against other companies liable too.
Exactly.
So that's just not right.
No, it's not, because they're helping them and put their money into it too. Right. How much money is made off weed, Michael?
It's a lot.
Of money.
It's a shit ton. And not only about the money too, people are also concerned about like crime going up, especially with children. That's what people hear about whenever someone mentions weed, they just everyone's worried about their children, how it's going to affect them. But studies have actually found that when legalized on a medical or recreational level, weed typically makes children use it less, especially in teenagers. It makes teenagers use it significantly less because they see it as a medicine rather than a drug just to use for fun. And
you can go get it whenever you want too, so it's not as fun going to get it. Like back in the day when I was in high school and we smoked weed, it was the whole fun part about it is going to get it. Like if it turns legal, it's not that fun anymore. That's what adds a fun aspect to it, is going to get it and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fucking boys, dude.
Yeah, it sort of takes away from pretty much that's the argument for legalizing pretty much all drugs, is it takes away the addiction aspect. That way these people can actually get help that they need.
Exactly. But no, like you said, Canada made a shit ton of money off it. School programs.
Yeah, it's a really budding industry.
Yeah.
Places like DARE are talking about blaming weed for youth suicides.
Yeah.
Well,
didn't weed just get taken off DARE's list?
Did it?
I'm pretty sure it did.
Wow.
Well, let me look it up.
DARE with a bold move.
Well, I remember getting all that DARE talk and stuff like that. No, DARE has not gone soft on pot, so that's... They're blaming weed for a rise in school suspensions and suicides, when I think you can just look from a societal standard if you want to deal with that. I don't think that has to do with directly one thing. Yeah,
it's ridiculous to say.
This is DARE's website. Let's see what DARE says. Tony the Tiger. What is DARE's position regarding legalization of weed? Fuck you, DARE.
Don't smoke it.
Increase the legal use of, what does it say? Several studies have documented significant negative consequences of legalization, including increased illegal use of marijuana by minors.
Which is not true. I've done the research on that. Is not true.
Yeah. Increased traffic accidents and traffic deaths as a result of driving under the influence of marijuana. Increased emergency room visits related to marijuana overdoses.
There's actually been no concrete evidence other than murder rates that weed causes it to go up. And during those times where murder rates went up when recreational weed was legalized, during those times you have literally seen in other states the same murder rate rise happen.
Who's killing somebody on weed, dude? That's the stupidest shit I've ever heard, too. Increase the risk of addiction and use of other lethal drugs. Oh, they're still saying that, dude. The National Institute of Health reports that 1 out of every 6 teenagers who try the drug will develop an addiction, which,
I mean, of course, if you're willing to try drugs, you're going to maybe develop more of an addiction.
Yeah, exactly.
That only makes logical sense. I don't think that's blamed solely on weed, is just solely bring that in. I think that's more to blame on someone's upbringing and maybe them not dealing with problems in their life correctly.
Exactly. Because no, people can't get addicted to weed. I don't give a fuck what you say to me. It's true.
Yeah, definitely.
You get addicted to anything you want to get addicted to. People get addicted to stupid shit too. But no, Dare's fucking stupid to me. Dare's good, but I don't know if they attack what they're supposed to be attacking in the right aspect.
Yeah, and to close it out, some therapists saw an increased problem with psychosis, addiction, suicide, and anxiety and depression in states where it was legalized. So you see, if weed does have a negative effect, what it's looking like, it's more of a psychological negative effect than anything, rather than any physical. Obviously, smoking it will induce lung cancer if you do it over a long period of time. And for people who don't think that it's not as bad for you as cigarettes, that's also not true. Any kind of smoke is really bad for your lungs. It's not like you're kind of picking the worst of two.
Yeah. The only thing with cigarettes is cigarettes have way more chemicals in them than weed does.
Yeah.
But no, I was going to say about Dare's more of, I don't know, I feel like if Dare didn't make weed, I mean, it make drugs, so like, just the way they attack the whole thing of fucking being so aggressive with it, they make kids want it more, I feel like, and stuff like that.
Yeah, the war on drugs has failed tremendously, and Dare's just an offspring of that.
Yeah. Fucking the tiger. People wear the shirts as a joke, dude. That's what makes it so funny.
Yeah, people that do drugs are typically the ones that have that like on their car and shit.
Yeah, exactly. And it's fucking hilarious. Or people that have the Dare license plate and stuff, dude. That's pretty funny.
You're actually, by percentages, you're more likely to get pulled over with a Dare license plate.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, but going back to crime with it, there's a lot of statistics where weed doesn't really have an effect on crime, like I said, and it's a common misconception just because there's stigma around it.
Yeah.
And people don't want to lift their eyes and see facts when it comes to marijuana. And I'm not one of those people that's saying that weed is this cure-all and it's the best thing for you. I think it's actually negative. It can be a potentially negative thing in your life.
Yeah, it can be.
And it can also be positive. It's how you choose to handle it and whether or not it helps you. Because, for example, if you have 300 seizures a day, which there's a video, I think, deeper down the notes on one of the cases covered by ABC, where a little girl was having 300 seizures a day.
Yeah.
And when they started giving her CBD oil, she went down to 7 seizures a day.
Yeah, which CBD is proved to help. That it helps with seizures and stuff like that for little kids and stuff,
and dogs too. So if you're an animal lover, there's countless videos online. You can look them up of dogs getting a little bit of oil or hashes in their mouth after they have a seizure and them calming down.
Or thunderstorms too. It helps with thunderstorms too. Yeah. So, do you think weed should be legal all over, Michael? Do you think it should be?
I think it should be, but we need to be careful on how we legalize it and what we do with the revenue.
Yeah.
Because if we legalize weed, but the war on drugs continues, it's kind of backwards and it's kind of defeating the purpose. Because if you're going to look at weed like that, where it's legalized because people do it, and like that's okay. Well, people do heroin all the time, and I'm not saying heroin. What I am saying is heroin should be legalized, but it shouldn't be legalized in a sense of, well, let's just legalize it for the sake of legalizing so people can do it.
Yeah.
No, let's set up facilities where these people who are drug addicts can go and they can have clean needles, because clean needles have been proven to have an 80% effect on the contraction of HIV and AIDS from addicts.
Yeah.
So if we can get these people clean needles and then afterwards maybe help them with their problems that they're dealing with, so we don't continue this cycle of jail. But that won't happen.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen because of the lobbyists.
Well, also too, I think with like clean drug like facilities and stuff like that, I still feel like people wouldn't go to them because people would be embarrassed. I think it should be, people should do it too. I think drugs should be legal and that's the way people should do drugs. But I don't know. I feel like people would be embarrassed and they wouldn't want to go. And then like you said, with the fucking, like the only way drugs become legal in this world is fucking if we have the most insane president of all time.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? Fuck it. We're going to make a shit ton of money off it. People want to do what they want to do. Let's do it.
That's actually exactly what you saw in Illinois. The mayor that, I think he'd be a governor, but the governor that ran for head of Illinois, his whole platform is basically legalizing marijuana.
Yeah.
So
it's crazy.
I think we'll see that eventually.
Yeah. You think weed's going to be legal one day, 100%?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, traditionally speaking, if we're talking about the history of mankind and like laws and systems, weed has not been legal for a very long time.
Yeah.
And it's much like the alcohol prohibition at this point.
Yeah.
People are just kind of like,
there was like, I feel like they
what are you doing?
Yeah, I don't know why people still have a taboo around it. It fucking doesn't make any sense to me though. It doesn't make any sense to me at all.
Because it's an easy gateway out of a lot of people's own fears and own crises within themselves. For example, weed's often associated with city people.
Yeah.
So from a racist perspective, if a city person like pisses him off, well, then he's going to hate weed and everything that has to do with it. And that's sort of a conclusion that these people subconsciously draw.
Yeah.
And not their fault, but it is their fault.
Well, dude, just like think about how many people got fucking murdered from weed, like traffic stops that had weed or fucking stuff like that.
The percentage, I cannot imagine the percentage of African Americans that have gun pulled on them just because they have a little bit of weed.
Yeah, it's disgusting, honestly. It's really gross. So do you think alcohol is better than weed?
I don't think one is better than the other. I think alcohol, if we're talking in terms of health, just purely your body and your health, and that, I think weed is better for that in that sense, in terms of just purely health wise. But if we're talking just from a life standpoint, is it better for your life?
Yeah.
And like who you are as a person? I think both negatively affect you.
Yeah.
And they're drugs for a reason.
Yeah.
It's because you're trying to escape reality. In some sense of it, you're trying to escape reality.
Yeah. I think alcohol is way worse for your, I don't know. Like if it was to come down to it, alcohol definitely can be way more home wrecking and destroy a family over weed. I mean, some people let weed destroy their fam. I don't know. Alcohol can be, I don't know, dude.
I mean, people don't even talk about the positive effects that weed have too. And I think that's why you give the edge to weed.
Yeah.
As far as like a harder drug, I think weed is obviously less harder because one, you don't have overdoses on it.
Yeah.
No one's ever overdosed to just strictly marijuana. And, it's used actively as a painkiller. You can't deny the obvious health benefits of it in certain cases, but some cases aren't those cases. And in terms of mental health, sometimes weed can help and sometimes it hurts.
Yeah.
So it's a case by case basis.
Well, schizophrenia, it's fucking terrible for people with schizophrenia.
Yeah.
Apparently there was a marijuana.
Rest in peace, capitalists.
Yeah, there was a marijuana overdose in Louisiana, rumor has it. When the first ever reported death from a THC in the United States was declared by the local coroner in Louisiana earlier this month, medical reports across the country jumped on the claim. Fox News predictably ran the most headline. Louisiana coroner, woman died of THC overdose. I want to see what they said. The unnamed 39-year-old woman. This woman probably fake, bro. The unnamed 39-year-old woman.
They just got a plastic body in a grave somewhere.
Yeah, was found dead in her apartment in the town of La Place in February, and the autopsy determined that she had healthy organs, no event illness, and no elevated levels of alcohol or other drugs in her body, just high levels of THC. How much did she have? 8.4 nanograms of THC per millimeter of her blood.
Which isn't that high.
No, it's not that high at all. and 15 times the detection level in absence of the vape pen. Yeah, she was hitting a vape pen, dude. No way.
Was there maybe something? Did she have any other health issues? These are probably answers we're not going to really get on it.
No, they said she had no other health issues and no other drugs in her system. I think the lady must have vaped this THC oil and got a high level in her system, and it may have had her breathing stopped. Respiratory failure. Yeah, dude, that's no
So there
way.
might have been an undiagnosed issue with her respiratory. I mean, your respiratory just doesn't fail like that.
You could just naturally die too. Like that happens too. People just naturally die sometimes.
I don't doubt the credibility of the coroner, but I'm gonna doubt it in this case.
I'm gonna doubt the credibility of the coroner.
Yeah, just because I don't know, man. That seems a little bit shady.
Yeah, dude definitely is lying. There's no way that happened for sure. Let's see what else we got.
Yeah, also, if you're pregnant, please don't smoke. There's a lot of negative effects, obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously. I mean, if anyone ever tells you that it's okay to smoke while you're pregnant, it's not.
Yeah, I would never recommend that for any fucking human being to do that at all. Ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah. Anything with your baby, you should just probably try to be as sober as possible for.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, and also please maybe try not to load up on big pharma drugs.
Yeah, exactly. Big Pharma's bullshit. Always know that.
Yeah.
So let's see here. Who's lobbying against weed, Michael?
Like we said earlier, we said big pharma, but to get into the exact, what is the weed industry taking away from big pharma?
A lot. This is why it's hard for weed to get legalized right here.
Yeah, taking away pain.
Yeah.
And anxiety, nausea, all that shit. And there's almost, in some cases with pain, 2,000 less doses per capita.
Well, especially with the Oxycontin fucking thing going on right now, a lot of those doctors want to prescribe this, and they'd rather prescribe weed, which is good. That's how it should be.
Disgusting, man.
Yeah, dude. That
whole case. I don't know if we talked about that on this podcast.
I think we briefly went over it a little, like 2 podcasts ago.
Yeah, but it's really it's vile.
Yeah,
honestly. It's disgusting to look at, and Oxycontin industry basically painted users as drug addicts on purpose, so they can continuously feed them these pills.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's legal.
Yeah, exactly. That's legal, and this isn't legal. It's crazy though that how many doses they've taken away, or how many people they've taken away. It's insane.
It's good.
It is. Good. It's very good, dude. Yeah, alcohol companies too are not happy about this whole situation. That's one of the biggest fucking lobbyists against weed, which is mind-boggling to me.
I don't even know if there's any statistical evidence to back that weed takes away from the alcohol industry, because in most places where weed is legalized, it's illegal to be drunk and high at the same time.
Yeah, which is pretty interesting too. No, that's a good point though. I never thought about it like that. If weed really does take that much away from the alcohol industries, I don't know.
Maybe if you're gonna drink, I don't think weed's gonna stop you from doing that.
I mean, maybe people that
maybe if you're like,
I feel like people are gonna do both anyways too, so it doesn't really matter.
That's these harsh regulations on certain things are kind of almost defeat the purpose.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, my throat is so fucked up right now, bro. But no, it's
coming down with that bronchitis, bro.
Yeah.
The Black Plague.
According to the studies of 84% of Americans support some form of legalization, whereas 60% support legalization of weed recreational on a federal level. The latter number is 74% among millennials. Wow. So yeah, that's true, obviously.
3/4 of millennials support the legalization of marijuana.
Yeah, that's how it should be, right? Like, don't you think that's how it should be? I think a lot of people growing up in this day and age realize it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that big of a deal at all anymore.
Yeah, I agree. It's ridiculous to think that it was a big deal even at some point, but the only reason why it was a big deal is because this failed war on drugs.
Exactly.
That only increased drug rates, and I think during that time is when crack was introduced too.
Exactly, by the CIA.
We'll whisper that one.
So how long do you think it is till weed is fully legalized 100% throughout the entire country?
2069.
2069.
Probably I'd say 2030.
2030. That's a good estimate. I like that estimate a lot.
Mildly optimistic, maybe.
Yeah, no, it's optimistic for sure. That's definitely optimistic. I'm gonna go with Ooh. I'm going to go with 2032. I think that's a good time period. Honestly, it all depends who we get in presidency and who's down for it and who's not down for it.
Maybe if we're patient enough, we'll get all the way to 2420.
Yeah, dude. That'd be fucking...
just have an entire blow-off year for it.
Dude, we'd miss it, but imagine 2420. Imagine 2004-20, dude. That's going to be a great year for whoever's still living in that year. You think... What are weed's going to be like in 2000?
What if the Earth's still going to exist by then?
Dude, yeah, that's a good point, too. I want to know... I would like to come back to what weed has become in 2004-20.
Yeah, put this podcast in the time capsule.
Dude, yeah. Let's look up. I want to see what comes up when you look up 2004-20. It's probably a weed company, dude.
I'm going to bet a lot of ridiculously dumb memes from Reddit.
Let's see. 2004-20. I think it's going to be like some... Dude, weed's going to be insane.
This is almost a form of a social experiment.
Yeah.
Experiment, I'm sorry.
Shame the podcast 2004-20. It's weird even saying. Shout out to everyone in the year 2004-20. I wonder if in the year 2004-20 the joke will still exist. That's a good point too. That's a really good point. What if 420 is lost in the future and nobody knows what 420 means?
It's a possibility. We've seen a loss of traditions throughout society, especially ones as frugal as the 420 movement.
Yeah.
So.
This person said more people were stoned on 420 than will be on 2004-20. That's a good one, dude. There's probably at least...
I love great puns like that. I'm a big fan of the pun game.
There's probably at least one white guy adopted and raised in China who speaks English with a Chinese accent. Strangers assume he's a total asshole.
Yeah.
Dude, that's so good.
Yeah.
In the past 100 years, clowns have become more scary than funny, while skeletons have become more funny than scary. Dude, Reddit's the greatest place on earth, dude.
Yeah.
Please tell you to... What does this say? Please tell you stay a kid for as long as you can. Yet the moment you do anything childish or immature, they tell you to grow up.
That sounds like something a pedophile would say.
Yeah, exactly. One more. There's probably a guy named Charlie working in a chocolate factory getting tired of hearing the same joke over and over again. Oh man.
Yeah.
All right. So you got anything else to add to the weed thing, Michael?
One last thing, guys. Just stay off the weed.
Which I will be putting Stephen A. Smith in the podcast somewhere. So
stay off the weed.
I might just put him in like periodically randomly.
Yeah, just like mix it in. Just like stay off the weed.
Just fucking keep throwing him in randomly, like at weird spots. I'll just keep putting him in.
Yeah.
But now another topic. This is let's dive into the next topic, Michael. 2, 1, roll.
Up to bat with the last topic here. Children and porn.
Yeah, teenagers and porn. Teenagers and porn. This is a very touchy topic. I don't know, dude. The more research I do on this, the less I find. I swear to God, dude. See, because
designed like that.
How this topic got brought up. I was listening to NPR and this lady was fucking being dumb as hell.
Yeah.
She was basically probably a fucking virgin who never had sex and doesn't understand what's going on around her. Harsh, but she annoyed the shit out of me. So I was listening to NPR and this lady was talking about how terrible porn is for teenagers, which I don't think it's great for teenagers, and she was saying that when you watch porn, it brings more dopamine to your brain than heroin, cocaine.
I actually heard the same argument before.
No. And I made the argument of, if you know where this porn is, let me know, because I would like to watch it if it brings more dopamine to my brain than heroin, cocaine, all of those. And then she was saying that 90 or 95% of the porn on porn websites is like assault or something like that, which...
What does that mean?
Like assault, like sexual assault and stuff like that. Like if you treat a girl like that, it's sexual assault.
I can see some percentages maybe.
Yeah, some percentage, probably like 25%. But honestly, dude, it's like, what do people do in the bedroom? Like, how are you supposed to have sex? Some people have different kinks. Some people like rough sex. Some people don't like rough sex. Some people like it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, there's sort of a gray area there. So it's kind of naive to point that out.
Yeah. And then she was saying that the porn industry is pointed towards teenagers, and it's basically that's what the porn industry aims at, is for teenagers, which I don't really believe that 100%
I think
at all
the porn
either.
industry just aims for anyone that's going to make them money like any other company.
Yeah, or any male or female that is masturbating, which about 95% of the population probably fucking masturbates.
Yeah.
So that's the thing where I was like, so what is this teenager supposed to do? Look at a magazine of a fucking girl? Like, what is he supposed to do? His hormones are flying through the roof right now. He doesn't know what
it's sort
to
of
do.
ignorant to suggest that. I mean, it's a weird topic, man.
But it's like, what are teens supposed to do then? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you don't want them, because I was listening to this lady called in, she was like, my husband is addicted to porn and so is my 17-year-old daughter. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude. Like obviously you can be addicted to porn.
That's
it
when
can happen.
It
but
can get out of control. I think people let it overtake their lives in some instances. And like, instead of like trying to have a sex life,
yes, which that can happen too. It can take over your life like that, where you just watch porn all the time and do that.
That's up to the individual, though.
Yeah.
And I think porn is more of an individual opinion on it. And like to say that heroin and cocaine are worse. I mean,
you just get the same dopamine as heroin and cocaine. That's what she was trying to say. Like when you watch porn.
you just get dopamine.
Yeah. Well,
I think that's just
your
how our body works.
You mentally want sex. You physically, like basically need sex, which every human does. They want it. You're programmed for that. So you're fucking in your motherboard, dude. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. This lady was just some hardcore feminist to me. I'm just like, all right, let's take a fucking breather. Let's step back and look at this situation from a logical perspective. Because no matter what, a teen is going to watch this type of stuff. Whether you want it to be fucking nice porn or they don't, like the porn you'd see on HBO at 2:00 in the morning.
It's sort of like the same thing you see with drugs. When people want drugs, they're going to get it. When people want porn, they're going to get it.
Exactly. When they were saying, is porn too easy to get? Like should porn be harder to get to? Because they were saying, oh, back in the day, porn wasn't like this. Which porn, how long's porn been around, Michael? Let's take a guess. How long has porn been around? How long has
Probably for an extremely long time. That's why I putting restrictions on people I never think is the way to go.
Yeah.
So to say that we should ban this certain industry or ban this from someone, it's sort of dumb, because if teenagers want to find it and it's illegal in some way, they're gonna find a way to get it.
Exactly. What is it? They're saying porn goes back to fucking AD, dude. Before we can have cameras, they had porn going on. It's just human instinct, dude. The U.S. Supreme Court defined obscenity using a 3-part test in 1979. That's when like the first porn was made, was 1979. That's when they were getting in dirty. 1969, Denmark legalized pornography in 1969, becoming the first country to formally do so. Dude, it dates back to 1865. Like, this goes back. Porn goes back pretty fucking far, dude. Humans have been doing this humans having sex since, I don't know, the start of time. So, you know what I mean? Like,
I don't know, man. There's a lot of bogus arguments like this, and they just really do nothing but try to push a certain agenda, or trying to mess with facts to push what they want.
Exactly. Feminists against porn. So do you think teens should watch porn? Do you think teens should, obviously not obsess over it, but
I think if a teen wants to watch porn, they should be allowed to.
Yeah.
But not like allowed to in a sense of like it's legal, but like I don't think we should go to I think it would be a waste of time, honestly. Just simply a waste to go to these extra measures to prevent it.
Yeah.
So I think it's really up to, at first, the parent and then the individual.
Yeah, exactly. Feminist views on pornography. Whoa, dude, some feminist websites put some pretty crazy shit on it. Feminist case against pornography review.
There's weird stuff. I mean, some feminists take stuff too far, just like any other group takes something too far.
Exactly. A lot of groups take shit way too far.
I think every group has those people that take stuff too far.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at the stands of the world.
Yeah. Oh my God. All right. So ending with the porn topic. yeah, I just wanted to get that off my chest. I think it's ridiculous what this lady was saying on NPR.
Yeah.
I don't know her name, or I would shout her out. Maybe get her on the podcast to argue with her. She was from Europe, so, or I think she was British. I don't know. But you got any topics, Michael?
Just have an open mind, have an open opinion, people.
Yeah, exactly.
Please.
Yeah.
Please.
Think about stuff, listen to other people, acknowledge what other people are saying. Don't just be one-sided with everything you talk about or listen to. Always choose to listen to both sides.
Yeah, and generate all your own thoughts. That's what's most important thing here, is because we have ourselves in a predicament as a society.
Yeah.
And we're not going to pull ourselves out of that predicament unless we critically think about it.
Exactly. You got to go in, you got to go deep, 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 and you really got to think about stuff.
Yeah.
That was the 57th episode of the Cover Box here.
Adios.
Bye. Boom.
Within my gauntlet is concealed a most effective weapon.